So this is the panel all about how do we get sufficient money into climate finance. I just wanted to spend a few moments listing some very interesting figures. In 2012, Bloomberg New Energy Finance estimates around 260 billion was invested globally in clean energy technologies. This was up on 2011 levels, but still only around a quarter of what the International Energy Agency estimates is needed to deliver a sustainable energy system that enables us to avoid dangerous climate change. Now, undoubtedly, public money will be needed in the first instance to underpin some of this private investment, and that's a difficult ask in the face of the ongoing economic crisis many governments are facing. It means public money is more limited and needs to be made to work harder, which is really what innovative financial instruments discussion is about. Ironically, though, there is public money available. It's been touched upon by a couple of our speakers today that still huge amounts of publicly sourced funds are going into supporting fossil fuels. So in 2011, again, the International Energy Agency estimates around 523 billion was provided in support to those subsidies. So really, we do need to start to move beyond talking about the challenges and actually taking action. And we need to think about how we can redress this balance between high and low carbon investment support. As Ingrid said, this session is going to focus on practical solutions for scaling up finance, with a special focus on innovative financial instruments. Now, I want to hand over to our first keynote speaker, Christophe Nuttall from R20. Would you like to come up, Christophe? He's been the Executive Director of R20 for the last year. He's going to talk a little bit about its work and the financing challenges. He has a huge amount of experience working with the regions, having led the Hub for Innovative Partnerships at the UNDP.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's very important to have this session in terms of finance, because it's really a bottleneck for subnational authorities, especially in the developing countries, in emerging countries, but also some countries in Europe, I would say Eastern Europe. And we have found out, and this is, I would say, the ADN, the DNA of R20, it is to make sure that there is a green deal flow that can happen. And what is the problem is that you have a number of stakeholders who are working literally in silos, not talking to each other. So we are here trying to plug in 3 different universes in order to make sure that we can get to those deals at the end of the day. So we are talking, of course, of subnational authorities, where we know that 75% of decisions that they can take for renewable energy and energy efficiency are within their hands and not national government. When you go for energy efficiency for mobility, for example, in cities, when you put a tramway or you put eco-clean buses, or when you go for building efficiency, when you have a code, when you go for permit to deliver, when you go for LED street lights, all are in the hands of local authorities. The same way for small-scale renewable energy projects, when you go for waste to energy, sludge to energy, solar PV, etc. Here again, you are in the hand of local authorities. Unfortunately, most of the time, they know the solution, broadly speaking, but they don't know how to turn that into a proper document project, what we do call a bankable project. So the whole idea is how you can plug those with those who know the technologies, those who how to handle those services. So to make them working at the end of the day to come with a bankable project. When you have those two, you reduce both your political risk and your technological risk, and then you go to the finances. And we have, during last year, worked on this, I would say, methodology, and we end up with a 1 billion portfolio project, which we consider as bankable. Then we went to the finance institution and learned more about them. What are they looking for in terms of technologies, in terms of geographies, in terms of return investment, in terms of ratio of the debt and equity, in order to find out, how can we plug those projects which are demand-driven, bottom-up, with the possibilities of finance within public and private equity, private banking, pension fund, and so on. And we have now a database of 108 institutions where we know the profile enough in order to make those connections. And as Kovanes Schwarzenegger this morning, we have been able, last year, at the end of the year, thanks to the 1 billion portfolio project, being able to secure $150 million US for sludge to energy project in a number of regions and municipalities. But what we would like us as R20, we are working with a number of finance partners in order to find out how we can develop a kind of a pre-investment facility for having the means for us with our different partners to make those local authorities being in a position to go access those public and private funding. So we have worked with a number of partners. I'm not going to name all of them here, but among which we have Idea Carbon, and they were keen enough to go very much in the detail of how to build up this trust in order to make those pre-investment facilities being understood and being filled in order to get the funds, not for us, but for the municipalities who have good ideas and they have the willing to do so. So I'm going to terminate here, and I will hope that our colleagues from Idea Carbon, from others, I mean, we are working with a number of institutions on that, but also the important finance instrument that we have around the table this afternoon to let us know what should we do, how we should scale up all these initiatives, because the potential is great. Thank you.